The United Nations has issued resolutions questioning Israel's historic connection to East Jerusalem. But what does the archaeology tell us? City of David Foundation Director of International Affairs, Zev Ornstein, joins the show in studio. So, Zev, let's just talk about your foundation, what you do. What has been unearthed in Jerusalem?
Well, Mary, first, thanks for having me. It's really interesting that the site of biblical Jerusalem, ancient Jerusalem, up until 150 years ago, was like the lost city of Atlantis. It was misplaced. It's only in the last century and a half that archaeologists have discovered the true location of ancient Jerusalem, the city of David, located adjacent to the Western Wall, just outside the walls of the Old City. In these excavations from British, French, German, Irish, American, and today Israeli archaeologists, in these excavations, antiquities dating back thousands of years have been uncovered. Seals bearing the names of figures mentioned in the Bible, coins with ancient Hebrew writing, inscriptions affirming events mentioned in the Bible being unearthed out of the ground.
So it clearly shows the historic connection between the Jews and Israel, and yet the United Nations just denies this reality. Why is that? Explain that to viewers.
Well, I think for many in the United Nations, in the international community, particularly in the Middle East, there is a vision for an exclusive Jerusalem, a Jerusalem that only has significance to one group of people, not to Christians, not to Jews, but only to Muslims. And so in these recent UNESCO resolutions, they said that Jerusalem, the Western Wall, the Temple Mount, only has significance to Muslims. And they condemn the archaeological excavations. The largest archaeological site in Israel today is the City of David. And it really makes a lot of sense, Mary, that if you want to tell a story, and a story is what this is, a fiction, that Jerusalem is only significant to Muslims, well, you have to condemn the archaeology, because the archaeology every day is unearthing antiquities that tell the inclusive story.
Yeah, but isn't Israel preserving these sites? I mean, if you care about these sites, not just as a Christian, but as a Muslim or some other faith, don't you have access to them if they're protected by Israel, a democratic state?
Absolutely. The City of David, along with all other historic sites, is open to people of all faiths and backgrounds, where the history, the archaeology of all faiths is being preserved, contrasting that with what's happening in the region with ISIS, contrasting that with the destruction of antiquities by the Muslim Waqf on the Temple Mount in the late 90s. In Israel today, the history is being preserved for people to come and connect with that.
And you've got something here on set with you?
In fact, we have over here a coin that is 2,000 years old. Now, this coin has on it ancient Hebrew writing. It was found, many of which have been found in Jerusalem, in the City of David. And this coin says on it, "For the freedom of Zion," Zion being another name for Jerusalem, dating back to the period when Jews were fighting for their freedom in Jerusalem. And today, there is a free Zion, and it is our hope that people of all faiths and backgrounds, despite what UNESCO might say, will come and connect with their history in Jerusalem that continues to be unearthed and shared with people of all faiths and backgrounds. And that's what this coin represents, and hopefully there will be a free Zion for many years to come.
Well, I second that. The City of David Foundation Director of International Affairs, Zev Ornstein.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks very much.